Part of leadership is kind of overcoming obstacles, whether that can be resource limitations or perhaps like naysayers, like saying you can't do this. So are there any specific moments that come to your mind when you were met with these obstacles, and how did you overcome them?
Oh yeah, I mean there's like a lot of adversity that you go through anytime you do anything significant. And so I'm imagining Samuel trying to talk to someone, and then maybe someone's like, I don't want to hear it, or whatnot. And he's
That's
like,
happened like with my friends especially.
Yeah. So so Samuel's like, oh, that's happened. By the way, it happens to everyone who does something in this space. So one of the things I tell myself, I'll tell you, Samuel, I'll tell Rachel, for you this doesn't apply, Eric, but, and you'll see why in a minute. So when you're a student, an A is approximately like 95%-ish, right? Maybe that's an Asian B. Sorry. So you're conditioned to want to get everything right on a test, because if you get more than 20% wrong, the grade's bad, right? But when you go out into the world, let's say you're talking to people about Christianity, no one would ever expect you to get 9 out of 10 like people that you were talking to all of a sudden have some spiritual awakening. Like, what do you think would be a really good success rate in that space? If you got one person out of, I'm going to say 20, you'd probably be pretty pumped if you thought you made like a massive difference in the spiritual life of that one person. So that's a success rate of 5%, which is kind of the opposite of the school success rate. Now you see why this doesn't apply to you, Eric, because because like you couldn't screw up 19 out of 20 soccer plays, and people would be like, oh yeah, this is fine. They wouldn't accept that. But I will say, in the business context, what do you think a really good success rate is if you're a salesperson?
50.
What's that? 50 would be astoundingly high if you were a salesperson. I've raised, so when I started a nonprofit, I raised, I don't know, let's call it $25 million for that nonprofit from various people. What do you think my success rate was when I asked people for money?